Welcome back to my YouTube channel, children. Today we are going to continue with the explanation of the chapter The Enemy. This is the fourth chapter of your Vistas textbook for class 12. In the last session, in the last video, we had dealt with those pages till where Hannah had started puking because of the sight of blood, and how Sadao feels really irritated and helpless because he cannot leave the patient, which is the enemy, which is the prisoner of war, at the operation table and go and look after his wife. That kind of caused him a lot of pain. This man, he thought, there's no reason under heaven why he should live. But unconsciously you'll find again, as in many other instances in the chapter, you'll find that his hands do not follow his thought. Unconsciously this thought made him ruthless and he proceeded swiftly. In his dream the man moaned, Sadao, but Sadao did not pay any heed except to mutter at him. Groan if you like. I'm not doing this for my own pleasure. In fact, I do not know why I'm doing it. So he's in a dilemma even while looking after, tending the injured man. The door opened and there was Hannah again. Where's the anesthetic? She asked in a clear voice. Sadao motioned with his chin. It is all well that you come back. This fellow is beginning to stir. It is as well that you come back because this fellow is now no longer under that, is not unconscious. He needs to be administered anesthesia. She had the bottle and some cotton in her hand. But how shall I? Simply saturate the cotton, hold it near his nostrils. And he replied without delaying for 1 minute the intricate detail of his work. When he breathes badly, move it away a little. She crouched close to the sleeping face of the young American. It was piteously thin face. She has never ever administered chloroform or anesthesia to anyone. So this is how she's going to do it. And she thought, and the lips were twisted. That means the man was definitely suffering. He was in pain, whether he knew it or not. Watching him, she wondered if the stories they heard sometimes of the sufferings of prisoners were true. They came like flickers of rumor, told by word of mouth and always contradicted. So there was a lot of talk about the way the Japanese treated the prisoners of war. They came like flickers of the rumor told by word of mouth. That means it was never a written report they must have heard, but it was a rumor, or it could be through word of mouth that things were said about the way prisoners of wars were treated, and always those things were also contradicted because there was no proof. So while she was administering chloroform or anesthesia to this man, she was thinking about what all was said, the way how Japanese armies would treat the prisoners of wars. And in the newspapers, the reports were always that wherever the Japanese armies went, the people received them gladly with cries of joy at their liberation. But sometimes she remembered such men as General Takema, who at home beat his wife cruelly. Though no one mentioned it now that he had fought so victorious a battle in Manchuria, if a man like that would be so cruel to a woman in his power, would he not be cruel to one like this, for instance? She hoped anxiously that this young man had not been tortured. It was at this moment she observed deep red scars on his face and just under the ear. So it could have been some injury. See, Hannah also somehow seems to voice out that she doesn't want anything to do with this young man, but in her heart of hearts, she does not want anything bad to happen to him as well. She wishes that he should not have been tortured, though she at the same time wishes that she has nothing to do with him. Those scars, she said, lifting her eyes to Sadao for an answer. But he did not answer. At this moment, he felt the tip of his instrument strike against something hard. And what could that be? That could be the bullet, dangerously near the kidney. All thought left him. He felt only the purest pleasure. He probed with his fingers delicately, familiar with every atom in his human body. His old American professor of anatomy had seen to that knowledge. Ignorance of the human body is a surgeon's cardinal sin, sirs. He had thundered at his classes year after year. That means a surgeon must know the parts of the body like the back of his hand, and if he doesn't, it is almost equivalent to committing a murder if you operate upon a body without proper knowledge. To operate without as complete knowledge of a body as if you had made it, anything less than that is murder. It is not quite the kidney, my friend. It is not quite at the kidney, my friend. What is not quite at the kidney? The bullet. It has not reached the kidney. It has not pierced the kidney. And he calls this prisoner of war, my friend, unknowingly, while he operated this man, he forgets that he's operating a prisoner of war, the enemy of his nation. For him, at this point of time, this man is just a mere patient, a human being whose life Sadao, as a doctor, is obliged to save. It was his habit to murmur to the patient when he forgot himself in an operation. My friend, he always calls his patients, and so now he did, forgetting that this was his enemy. Then quickly, with the cleanest and most precise of incisions, the bullet was out. The man quivered, but he was still unconscious. Nevertheless, he muttered a few words. Guts, he muttered, choking. They got my guts. So he is he's revisiting the terror that he had faced when he was alive. Sadao, Hannah cried sharply. Hush, Sadao said. The man sank again into silence so profound that Sadao took up his wrist, hating the touch of it. Yes, there was still a pulse, so faint, so feeble, but enough. If he wanted the man to live, to give hope. So there was hope that he would survive. But certainly I do not want this man to live, he thought. And see, these are contradicting ideas. This is a depiction of the dilemma that Dr. Sadao is in. No more anesthetic, he told Hannah. He turned as swiftly as though he had never paused, and from his medicines he chose a small vial and from it filled a hypodermic and thrust it into the patient's left arm. Then putting down the needle, he took the man's wrist again. The pulse under his fingers fluttered once or twice and then grew stronger, so he was on the mend. This man will live in spite of all, he said to Hannah and sighed. It seems by this comment, it seems as if Sadao wanted him to die, but if he wanted him to die, he would not have operated and taken out the bullet and tried to save him anyways. So definitely he's in a dilemma what to do. The young man woke up so weak, his eyes were so blue and terrified when he perceived where he was, that Hannah felt compelled to apologize. She herself served him, for none of the servants would enter the room. When she came in for the first time, she saw him summon his small train. Summon means gather, and be prepared for some fearful thing. He was ready to be prepared for some fearful thing. Don't be afraid, she said. How come you speak English? I was a long time in America. She saw that he wanted to reply to her, but he could not. And so she knelt and fed him gently from the porcelain spoon. He ate unwillingly, but still he ate. Why did he eat? Because he wanted to gather strength. Now you will be strong soon, he said, not liking him and yet moved to comfort him. Because again she is in a dilemma. He did not answer. When Sadao came in the third day after the operation, he found the young man sitting up, his face bloodless with the effort, because even sitting up drained out energy. Lie down. Do you want to die? Now imagine Sadao is bothered about how much effort this man puts in, because he is still weak, and somehow Sadao is worried that he may lose his life if he puts up too much of a strain. He forced the man down gently and strongly and examined the wound. You may kill yourself if you do this sort of thing. What are you going to do with me? The boy muttered. He looked just now barely 17. Are you going to hand me over? For a moment, Sadao did not answer. He finished his examination and then pulled the silk quilt over the man. I do not know myself what I shall do with you. I ought to, of course, give you to the police. You are a prisoner of war. No, do not tell me anything. He put up his hand as he saw the young man was about to speak. Do not even tell me your name unless I ask for it. They looked at each other for a moment and then the young man closed his eyes and turned his face to the wall. Okay, he whispered, his mouth a bitter line. Now, this is definitely going to make him tense. This man, who is in the hands of a doctor, a Japanese doctor, perceives that the doctor is definitely going to hand him over to the government. And that is what Sadao informs him. He says, I'm not sure, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. Okay, he whispered. Outside the door, Hannah was waiting for Sadao. He saw at once that she was in trouble. Sadao, Yumi tells me the servants feel they cannot stay if we hide this man here any longer. She tells me that they are saying that you and I were so long. I'll come to these passages in a while. In America, that we've forgotten to think of our own country first. They think we are Americans. It is not true, Sadao said harshly. Americans are our enemies, but I have been trained not to let a man die if I can help it. The servants cannot understand that because they are uneducated. They don't have that sense of understanding. So, no, he agreed. Neither seemed to be able to say more. And somehow the household dragged on. The servants grew more watchful. Their courtesy was as careful as ever, but their eyes were cold upon the pair to whom they were hired. It is clear that our master ought to do what our master ought to do, though, Gardner said. He had worked with flowers all his life and he had been a specialist too in moss. This is the gardener. For Sadao's father, he had made one of the finest moss gardens in Japan, sweeping the bright green carpet constantly so that not a leaf or a pine needle marred the velvet of its surface. So he was very meticulously taking care of the garden. My old master's son, that means he's been hired by Sadao's father, knows very well that what he ought to do. Pinching a bud from the bush as he spoke, when the man was so near death, why did he not let him bleed? The young master is so proud of his skill to save life that he saves any life, the cook said contemptuously. So the cook was very unhappy that they seemed to doubt that because of the reason that Sadao and Hannah, both of them, had their education at America, and he is a skillful doctor. He thinks that the young master has become proud. She split, so the cook is a lady, she split a fowl's neck. Fowl refers to a bird, and she let the fluttering bird and let its blood flow into the roots of the wistaria vine. Blood is the best of fertilizer, and the old gardener would not let her waste a drop of it, so that blood would act as manure. It is the children of whom we must think, Yumi said. So the gardener gave his viewpoint, the cook gave her viewpoint, and Yumi says that at least they should think about their children and what will be their fate if their father is condemned as a traitor. They did not try to hide what they said from the ears of Hannah. Now it was deliberately said aloud because they knew that Hannah was standing nearby, arranging the day's flowers in the veranda, and she knew they spoke on purpose so that she might hear. That they were right, she knew too in most of her being, but there was another part of her which she herself could not understand. It was not sentimental liking of the prisoner. She had come to think of him as a prisoner. She had not liked him even yesterday when, I'll come to these passages in a minute, when he had said in his impulsive way, anyway, let me tell you that my name is Tom. She had only bowed her head, a little distant bow, and she saw hurt in his eyes, but she did not wish to assuage it, encourage it. Indeed, he was a great trouble in this house. So going back to these slides which I had left, Hannah has inner conflicts as well. She has a compassionate side. She tells Sadao to take the prisoner of war home. She's angry with Yumi because she's not ready to wash the boy. She sees scars, the red scar near his ears, and is worried, shouts out to Sadao and asks him what is it. She has some motherly feelings because the boy is hardly in his 20s, and she has a fearful side because she is living in a country that is at war the with the with the American natives country that is America, and with the presence of a prisoner of war in her house, it puts everybody in danger. Now Hannah definitely washes the POW. He's a young boy. He has red marks on his neck, reminds her of the torture they do on him, on the prisoner of war. The General Takema is rude and heartless. There are references of that, and she feels scared. So, how did the servants react to Sadao's act of taking the American soldier into the house? The servants were from the very beginning against Sadao's idea of taking the American soldier in for whatever reason, to kill or even to treat. They openly expressed their dissatisfaction and made it clear that Sadao should not treat the American because Americans are Japan's enemies. When they found out that Sadao was not going to yield to their wishes, they decided to quit their service at Sadao's place, and they amidst all this confusion. This is the servant's attitude at that time. The gardener thinks that Sadao is very full of pride for his skill, and the cook also thinks that he should not be helping. He should not have treated him at the very beginning, and somehow they didn't understand that when already the boy was dying, what was the need to save him? So there's a lot of superstitious elements that are visible. So as for Sadao, every day he examined the wound carefully. The last stitches had been pulled out of this morning, and the young man would in a fortnight be nearly as well as ever. Sadao went back to his office and carefully typed a letter to the chief of police reporting the whole matter. On the 21st day of February, an escaped prisoner. So on which day was he washed up on the shore? The 21st of February, in front of his house. He was washed up on the shore. So far he typed, and then he opened a secret drawer of his desk, and then he put the unfinished report in it. On the 7th day after that, two things happened. In the morning, the servants left together. The first thing was that the servants left. Their belongings were tied in big handkerchiefs. Handkerchiefs or kerchiefs, okay? Big cloths. When Hannah got up in the morning, nothing was done. The house was not clean. The food was not prepared. She knew what it meant. It meant that the servants had revolted. She was dismayed and even terrified, but her pride as a mistress would not allow her to show it. So instead, what did she do? She inclined her head gracefully and she decided, I'll do all the work. And she paid them and thanked them for all they had done for her, and then they all were definitely crying because they were very attached to this couple, but she did not cry because she was a master of the house and she did not want to show that she was weak. The cook and the gardener had served Sadao since he was a little boy in his father's house, and Yumi cried because of the children. She was so grieving that after she had gone, she ran back to Hannah and she said that if the baby misses me too much tonight, please send for me. I'm going to my own house and you know where it is. Thank you, Hannah said, smiling, but she told herself that she will not call for Yumi, no matter how much the baby cried. She made the breakfast and Sadao helped with the children. Neither of them spoke of the servants beyond the fact that they were gone. But after Hannah had taken morning food to the prisoner, she came back to Sadao. Why is it we cannot see clearly that what we ought to do? Even the servants see more clearly than we do. Why are we different from other Japanese? And Sadao could not answer. But a little later, so they were still in a dilemma. She was in a dilemma that how come the servants can take a decision that clearly, that they don't want to have anything to do with this American prisoner of war, but they cannot. Why are we different from other Japanese? And Sadao didn't have an answer to that. But a little later, he went into the room where the prisoner was and he said brusquely, Today you may get up on your feet. I want you to stay up only 5 minutes at a time. Tomorrow you may try it twice as long. It would be well that you get back on your strength as quickly as possible, because maybe within his mind he had decided that he has to hand him over or get rid of the prisoner of war, because the previous dialogue of Hannah showed that Hannah was getting trouble. He saw the flicker of terror in the young face that was still very pale. Why? The flicker of terror was still very pale because he thought that now definitely you're going to hand me over. But he said that I feel I ought to say thank you to you for saving my life. And then Sadao said, don't thank me too early. You don't know what I'm going to do. And then there was again a flicker of terror in the boy's eyes. A terror unmistakable as an animal's, that finally he is going to be given to the butcher. The scars on his neck were now crimson red for a moment because blood flushed to his face. Those scars, what were they? Sadao did not ask, otherwise it would have led to a conversation. In the afternoon, the second thing happened. So the first thing that happened was that the servants had decided to leave. The second thing that had happened was that Hannah, working hard on unaccustomed labor, saw a messenger come to the door in the unofficial uniform. Her hands went weak and she could not draw her breath. The servants must have told already. She ran to Sadao, gasping, unable to utter a word. But by then the messenger had simply followed her through the garden, and there he stood. She pointed at him helplessly. Sadao looked up from his book. He was in his office, because that messenger, it seemed as if the servants must have gone and informed them, so she was really scared. By the time he looked up from his book and she went to that garden place and opened the partition. What is it? He asked, and then he rose as he saw the messenger. Are you to come to the palace? The old general is in pain. Oh, is that all? What do you mean all? Is that all? Because she expected that maybe there's a possibility he has called him to arrest him. Is that not enough? So she was caught unawares. Indeed it is. I am very sorry. When Sadao came to say goodbye, she was in the kitchen and but doing nothing. The children were asleep and she sat merely resting for a moment, more exhausted from her fright than from work. I thought they had come to arrest you. He gazed down into her anxious eyes. I must get rid of this man for your sake. I somehow must get rid of him. So this again is giving an insight that Sadao definitely cares for Hannah, and he wants to get rid of this man for her sake. Of course, the general said weakly. Now this is after Sadao visits the general. I understand fully, but that is because I once took a degree in Princeton, so few Japanese have. So this over here, he has already informed the general about the prisoner of war at his home. I care nothing for the man, Excellency, Sadao said, but having operated on him with such success, I feel that, and he was about to complete. And yes, the general said, it only makes me feel that you are indispensable to me, that you were able to even save the life of a man who has been so badly injured. So you think I can stand one more of this attack that I have had today? So the messenger had come to call him because the general had suffered an attack. Not more than one, so you will not be able to survive another attack. So then certainly I cannot allow anything to happen to you. So even if Sadao has confessed that he has helped a prisoner of war and saved his life, the general says that I will not allow anything to happen to you because he fears for his own life. In case he has another attack, there is nobody in Japan whom he trusts more than Sadao. So he is not going to punish Sadao for helping the POW. His long, pale Japanese face became expressionless, which meant that he was in deep thought. Who? The general. You cannot be arrested because obviously I need you in case I have another attack. The general said, closing his eyes, and suppose you were to be condemned to death and the next day I have an operation, what will I do? So at this point, the general is definitely thinking about himself only. There are other surgeons, Excellency. Sadao was being humble. None I trust. The best ones have been trained by Germans and would consider the operation successful even if I died. I do not care for their point of view. He sighed. It seems A pity that we cannot combine the German ruthlessness with the American sentimentality. Then you could turn your prisoner over to execution, and yet I could be sure you would not murder me while I was unconscious. So, in case there's a possibility, I do inform that you have to hand over the prisoner of war to the government of our country, and at the same time I trust you with my life if I have an attack. How could that be possible? Because we do not know how to combine American sentimentality and German ruthlessness. There is a possibility you would kill me at the operation table if you knew that by handing over the prisoner of war, your danger too may be at stake. The general laughed. He had an unusual sense of humor. As a Japanese, you could not combine these two foreign elements. You cannot combine these two foreign elements. These two foreign elements definitely will be a part of your behavior. So, in case you hand over the prisoner and the next day I have to be at your pity on the operation table, there is a possibility I might lose my life, because you may execute German ruthlessness and not combine it with American sentimentality. Sadao smiled. I am not quite sure, but for your sake I will be willing to try. Now the general said I had rather not be the test case, that I should not try whether you can combine German ruthlessness or American sentimentality. The general shook his head. I had rather not be the test case, he said. He felt suddenly weak and overwhelmed with the cares of his life as an official in times such as these, when repeated victory brought great responsibilities all over the South Pacific. It's very unfortunate that this man should have washed up on your doorstep, he said irritably. I feel it so myself. So at this time, he needed people, he needed to remain focused, the general, because Japan was expanding its territories and he could not get ill, he could not take any risk. So he says this is a very bad time that this prisoner of war has washed upon your shore. It would be best if he could be quietly killed, the general said. Not by you, but by someone who does not know him. I have my own private assassins. Suppose I send 2 of them to your house tonight, or better, any night, and you need to know nothing about it. It is now warm. What you would be natural, what would be natural that you should leave the outer partition of the white man's room open to the garden while he sleeps. Certainly, it would be very natural if I leave that open. I leave it open every night because the weather is warm. And then the general has planned over here that he will send his private assassins so that they could kill the man and even take care of the body and not leave a trace of blood. This is what the general has promised Sadao in these lines. He refused to allow anything but reason to be the atmosphere of his mind as he went into the room where the American was in bed. So he was convinced that this would be the best way to get rid of him, and it was very logical and reasonable to allow someone to kill this man. But as he opened the door, to his surprise, he found the young man. Imagine, he has just planned his murder. And when he goes there, he sees the young man out of bed and preparing to go into the garden. What is this? Who gave you permission to leave your room? I'm not used to waiting for permission, said Tom. Gosh, I feel pretty good again. But will the muscles on this side always feel stiff? Is it so? And he was inquired with surprise. He forgot everything else, that he has just signed, metaphorically signed a contract to get this person killed, and here he was worried about the muscles of this man being stiff at one side. He says that I thought I had provided against that I had taken care that these muscles do not become stiff. He murmured, and he lifted the edge of the man's shirt and gazed at the healing scar. Massage may do it if exercise does not. So he is ultimately now in the role of a doctor. He forgets that he as an army surgeon has already planned the murder of this person, but here he is again now planning how to save him. It won't bother me much, the young man said. His young face was gaunt under the stubbly blonde beard. Say, doctor, I've got something I want to say to you. If I hadn't met a Jap like you, well, I wouldn't have been alive today. I know that. Sadao bowed his head, but he could not speak. He could not speak because in his heart of hearts he knew that he had just metaphorically signed a contract to kill this man. Sure, I know that, Tom went on warmly. His big thin hands gripping a chair were white at the knuckles because again there's hardly any energy in him. The blood drained out. I guess if all the Japanese were like you, there wouldn't have been a war. That's a big statement because the Japanese doctor Sadao has saved his life despite both their countries being at war. Perhaps, and now I think you better go back to bed. He helped the boy back to bed and said good night. Sadao slept badly that night because now he is going to remember, he is always going to be expecting assassins to come and murder somebody who is next in the room. So it's not something you can sleep through, a night you can sleep through. So time and again he would wake up thinking that he heard somebody at the back who stepped on a twig and therefore it broke and maybe a stone was displaced in the garden because somebody was tiptoeing through the garden to kill that man that was staying in the next room. So he didn't sleep well. The next morning he made an excuse to go first into the guest room to check whether all has been taken care of. If the American were gone, he would then simply tell Hannah that what the general had decided. But when he opened the door, he saw at once that that boy was still sleeping there. He could hear the peaceful sleeping of the man. He's asleep, Hannah said. He's almost well to sleep like that. That means quiet breathing. Remember? Quiet, keeping quiet, a quiet breathing. So if you are at peace, you will sleep well. Hannah was very worried. What would happen? What would they do with this prisoner of war? And Sadao decided that he has to take a decision in a day or two because he knew that within a day or two, definitely the assassins would come. But certainly he thought that maybe the second night would be the day when the assassins would come, and he was always looking out for bending branches or whistling partitions so that maybe the air whistled through and through the partitions. But that didn't happen because Hannah woke up too and she said that there's a possibility that we should close the partitions because there's too much of air passing by. But Sadao quickly ensured that Hannah doesn't end up going to that room and says that if he is feeling cold, the prisoner of war would do it himself. But the next morning, the American was still there. Then the third night came, of course. That must be the night, Sadao thought. And the wind changed to quiet rain, and the garden was full of the sound of dripping eaves and running springs. And Sadao slept a little better, but he woke at the sound of a crash and leaped to his feet. And when Hannah said that, oh God, maybe the baby has woken up and I should go and check out what has happened, but Sadao ensured that she should not move out of the room, and he ensured that no, don't go, and ensured that Hannah doesn't leave the room because he thought that the crash was a result of the assassins coming and murdering the man in the next room. His terror infected her and she stood breathless waiting. There was only silence. Together they crept back into the bed and the baby between them. Yet when he opened the door of the guest room in the morning, there was a young man and he was very happy and he was washed and now on his feet, and it seemed as if he asked a number of questions, wanted a razor and shaved himself, and today there was a little bit of faint color in his cheek. He conveyed that he was very happy and feeling well. So Sadao had decided that it was time not to go through another night and wait for the assassins to come and kill a healthy boy. So it was not that he cared for this man's life, but somehow he felt it was not worth the strain, the tension. So he said, you are well. He lowered his voice. You are so well that I think if I put my boat on the shore tonight with food and extra clothing in it, you might be able to row to that little island not far from the coast. It is so near the coast that it has not been worth fortifying. That means there is no patrolling there. Nobody lives on it because it is in the storm, it is submerged. And but this is not the season of storm. You could live there until you saw a Korean fishing boat pass by. They pass quite near the island because the water is many fathoms deep there. So he has chalked out a plan to help him escape. And the young man was really surprised, and he said, "Do I have to do that?" He said, "Yes. You need to understand that it is not hidden that you are here." So the young man nodded in perfect comprehension. He understood and he said, "Okay." So Sadao did not see him again till evening, and till dark he had dragged the stout boat down to the shore, and in it he put food and bottled water that he had bought secretly during the day, as well as 2 quilts he had bought at a pawn shop. The boat he tied to a post in the water and till the tide was high. There was no moon, and he worked without a flashlight so that nobody would get to know what he's up to, and it doesn't attract much attention. When he came to the house, he entered as though he were just back from his work, and so Hannah knew nothing. Yumi was here today, she said, and she was fussing over the baby. The servants will come back as soon as um, the the uh, the prisoner of war is gone. The servants will come back, she assured. He went to the guest room, and at that night, before he went to bed himself, he carefully checked the American's temperature, his state of wound, his heart, his pulse, and everything was fine. The pulse was a bit irregular, but it was maybe because of excitement. And the young man's pale lips were pressed together and his eyes burned. Only the scars on his neck were red because again he was tense. "I realize you're saving my life again." "Not at all. It is only inconvenient to have you here any longer." He hesitated a good deal about giving the man a flashlight, but he decided to give it to him after all. It was a small one, his own one, which he used at night when he was called. "If food runs out before you catch a boat," he said, "then signal me 2 flashes at the same instant the sun drops over the horizon. Do not signal in darkness, for it will be seen, and if you are all right but still there, signal me once. You will find fresh fish easy to catch, but you must eat them raw. A fire would be seen." So he gave him a chance to escape. This was a plan that he had explained to him. Now he was dressed now in the Japanese clothes which Sadao had given him, and had also wrapped a black cloth over his blonde head, because the blonde head would definitely be much more visible in the night. So he said, "Now you go." The young American, without a word, shook Sadao's hand warmly, and then he walked quite well across the floor, down to the step into the darkness of the garden. Once or twice Sadao saw his light flash to find his way, but that would not be suspected. He waited until from the shore there was one more flash. Then he closed the partition. That night he slept. You say now this is a conversation that is going to happen between the general after a few days. He says, the general asked, "Oh, so the man escaped? He had been operated upon a week before." That is when he got into a conversation with Sadao. An emergency operation had to take place, for which Sadao had been called at night. For 12 hours, Sadao had not been sure whether the general would live. The gallbladder was much involved. Then the old man had begun to breathe deeply again and to demand food. Sadao had not been able to ask about the assassins, that how come the assassins had not been sent. So far as he knew that they would never come. The servants had returned, and Yumi had cleaned the guest room thoroughly and had burned sulphur in it to get the white man's smell out of it. Nobody said anything. Only the gardener was cross because he had got behind with his chrysanthemums. Chrysanthemums refer to the flowers that the gardener grew, a kind of flowers. So the servants had come back, but after a week Sadao felt that the general was well enough to be spoken about the assassins and the prisoner, and then he asked. He told the general that the prisoner escaped. He coughed, signifying that he had not said all that he would have liked to say, but he was unwilling to disturb the general. But the old man opened his eyes suddenly, and he said, "Oh, that prisoner! Did I promise that I would kill him for you?" "You did." Well, you said that. You said that I did, and I was suffering a good deal at that time. The truth is, I thought of nothing but myself. In short, I forgot my promise to you. So it was just about being self-centered. The general has always been self-centered, because what has he been doing till now? He has always been worried about Sadao being by his side. That's why he's not sending Sadao to along with the army troops. He's not even punished him when he confesses that he has a POW in his house. I wonder, Your Excellency, Sadao murmured, that how come the assassins were not sent. So now here the general is going to talk about the reason why he did not send the assassins. He is trying to convince Sadao to think that this was the reason and it was nothing else. So he says, I want you to understand it was not lack of patriotism or dereliction of duty. He looked anxiously at his doctor. If the matter should come out, you would understand that, wouldn't you? So this is what he wanted to be conveyed in case the information related to the POW was out in public. Certainly, Your Excellency, he suddenly comprehended that the general was in the palm of his hand, and that as a consequence he himself was perfectly safe. So Sadao could assess the situation, and he realized that actually the general had forgotten, but the general wanted Sadao to understand that it was not due to any lack of patriotism or a kind of ignorance of his duty, but it was just because he was self-centered. It was because he was thinking about himself and nothing else at that time. So Sadao knew that definitely he himself would be saved, because he had already informed him about the POW in his house. So he said, I can swear to your loyalty, Excellency, and to your zeal against the enemy. Definitely this is a way to appease the general. You're a good man, you will be rewarded for keeping this secret safe. But Sadao, searching the spot of black in the twilighted sea that night, had his reward. So his reward was actually the fact that there was no light in the twilight sea that night. That meant that there was no light in the dusk. That meant that there was no one on the island. It meant that the prisoner had gone. He was safe. It meant that he had already boarded a Korean fishing boat. So now Sadao was relaxed, and he was standing outside on his porch and staring into the sea that night. He stood on the veranda, and as he stared into the sea, he recalled all the American white faces came to his mind, and he recalled them one by one. The first American that he had come across was the professor at whose house he had met Hannah. Remember the professor in the early pages of this chapter, whose wife was always eager to have foreign students over for dinner and for a talk, but somehow students found that lady very, very talkative and voluble, so they used to avoid going there. But this was the place where Hannah met Sadao. Then he remembered his old teacher of anatomy, this teacher who told that it was very important to know the organs of the body as the back of your hand, because otherwise it would be a sin to operate upon a person without knowledge. He also remembered his fat landlady. He remembered that he was having a difficult time finding a place to live in America because he was a Japanese, and Americans were full of prejudice against Japanese, but somehow this landlady had allowed him to stay there. He despised him despite the fact that she had also taken care of him when he was not well and nursed him through influenza. But he despised her as an ignorant and dirty old woman. But Still, no matter how much she cared for her when he was not well, still he found her repulsive, even in her kindness. Now, another name added to the American faces was that of Tom, the youthful, haggard, tired face of this POW, white and repulsive. He stands on the veranda and thinks why he could not kill him. And definitely he was always in a dilemma whether he should follow his duty as a doctor or whether he should consider his role as a patriotic Japanese of utmost importance. So through his act he has been able to do justice to both these roles by saving the life of a human being, irrespective of the fact he was his enemy, and at the same time also informing the government about his whereabouts. Since the general had not taken timely action, Sadao thought it was fine to help him escape. So why did the general overlook the matter of the enemy soldier? That was so because he was actually overindulged in his self, taking care of his self. He was not well, and for him, taking care of his own health was of more importance than taking care of the affairs of the state. But Sadao found his reward in what? In that spot back in the twilight sea, black spot, because that meant that somehow that man was either still there, somehow that man either had escaped through a Korean fishing boat. So in this whole chapter we find that we have understood how different roles a man has to play. Here Sadao had to make hard choices between the roles as private individual and as a citizen with a national sense of loyalty. Therefore, this chapter deals with that dilemma, and it has brought out the whole character of Dr. Sadao with utmost ease and clarity. The next few videos, children are going to talk about the short answer questions, the text questions, and the long answer questions. So please do visit the channel. We will be posting it very soon. Thank you so much.